Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Real Estate America's newsroom. It is the beautiful month of July, the 12th day in the year of our Lord, 2022. Congratulations. We made it. We made it again. Today's show is brought to you by Freedom Move USA. We'll get to our sponsor here shortly, but we've got a lineup that you're going to want to go ahead and just kick in with here. Redfin stocks, they go ahead and drop 9.6% on the Monday open. What's going on with Redfin stocks? Maricopa County Inventory is up to 17,000 when they were about 4,500 month over month over the last 6 to 12 months. Tough times are brewing, ladies and gentlemen, tough times. And the copper thieves are out and about in Texas. AT&T lines are cut from poles, and we're talking the 3-inch lines. So as fast as the AT&T repair folks can go ahead and get out there and replace it, but tough times, the copper thieves are out. Mortgage news with Captain Kirk Jaffe. We're back on segment 4, and inflation is causing a housing affordability crisis and homelessness. So we're going to get into that and do a little research. So, ladies and gentlemen, our sponsor today is Freedom Move USA. If you are looking to go ahead and make a move and are looking for a real estate agent, make sure you check with Freedom Move USA first. Otherwise, you're going to be spending $10,000 to $25,000 on your move. So check with a Freedom Move USA agent first before talking to any other agent. Otherwise, you're going to be spending that money. So big shout out to Freedom Move USA. All right, we're going to get kicked off here, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around. We are live, so we see your comments. If you have anything good to say, bad to say, let us know. Any questions, concerns, comments, or anything else. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mr. Nick Sakis. How are you doing today, Mr. Nick?
Mr. Wolf, fantastic. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you too, sir. We've got a lot to talk about. The copper thieves are out. We're talking it's not just little copper. They're climbing poles, cutting 3 and 4 inch big lines.
I mean, you say, like, it sounds like it's not that big a deal, right? You hear 3-inch line. It's not that, like, a 3-inch copper line you could literally break your hand trying to clip that with the wrong tools. I mean, that is no joke to try to get through something like that. So that is very interesting. Those thieves are very well prepared with the right tools and probably have some sort of automated drills or something like that. Because I've cut through copper back in my day, and it's no joke. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting.
Big shout out to Milwaukee Power Tools.
Yeah, right. Somebody.
The thieves. Sawzall cordless Milwaukee's with the 12-inch jaw blades. So we're going to tap in there. So Redfin comes out on the Monday open. Their stock drops 9.6%, Nick. So right out of the gate. And so one of the things that's interesting there, the CEO and some other top folks in Redfin, they start saying, hey, we might have an issue here. And as soon as they open up their mouth, whoop, there goes the stock market. Yeah. So this is a big month with earnings reporting happening. We've got our major companies in the United States. I'm talking the big boys, right? We're talking Meta, Google, we're talking ABC, we're talking a lot of the big name brands. Our top 100s are going to report. So we'll see. And the Fed's going to be back at the round table, looks like on the 25th of this month. So it's going to be interesting. Buckle up. What say you, Nick?
I mean, we talk about leading indicators. We've already been covering employment and people getting laid off. I mean, are we really heading into that recession/depression, and how long is it going to last at this point?
I think everybody here is depressed and recessed because we have to go drive to the 7-Eleven and pay twice as much for gas. Is anybody listening to us on Capitol Hill? Hey, Uncle Joe, do something, please. Reverse out. So anyways, good. So inflation is causing housing affordability crisis. We've got some interesting stuff with Captain Kirk on mortgage reporting. I was talking to Kirk in the pre-show, and he said he listened to over 100 economists to go ahead and prepare his think tank to go ahead and report to us here. So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, Kirk has definitely got his finger on the pulse, if you will, right? He masterminds and networks with a bunch of I always say people that are much smarter than me. That's my favorite group to be around, right? I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, so I'm definitely happy to have Captain Kurt on the show.
He's totally, the name is perfect, Captain Kirk. I can see him in like going to warp speed and to a weird planet with economists and then coming back and telling us the truth on everything that's happening.
That's
so
right. That's right.
yeah, good deal. Let's go ahead and kick this show off. Enough of me ranting around. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you have any comments, please put them in here. We'll answer your questions. Also, we stream live every Tuesday and Thursday at the strike of high noon Eastern, 0900. And we urge you to bring your favorite beverage. We do. And tell all of your friends about us. And if you like what we're doing, ring the bell thingy and hit a like. We appreciate that because we spend our non-infinite life preparing this information for you so that you can be blessed and unstoppable. But if you haven't done so already, go over and check out reunation.com. Enter your information to go ahead and get show notes and hot insider news. And awkwardly enough, if you would actually like to be on the show and contribute to the American citizens out there, enter your information. We'll get in touch with you. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring in some heat. And I'm talking heat. Here is the Duke of the Dollar, Mr. Tim Parnell, and the one and only Captain Kirk Jaffe. He's back from Starfleet Command. Gentlemen, we have a interesting report from Market Watch here. No video to go ahead and bring in here, but I do have a Market Watch report. Let's go ahead and read this article here really quick. Redfin stock tumbles after it says housing market deals are falling through at the fastest rate in 2 years. Shares of Redfin Corp tumbled 9.6% in the morning trading on Monday after the online real estate services company said that the housing market deals are falling through at the fastest clip in 2 years as home buyers are using a slowing market to try to renegotiate. In addition, buyers are backing out because higher mortgage rates mean they can no longer afford the home that they agreed to buy. So interesting. I think somebody over at Redfin might have gotten their hand slapped at the coffee pot for opening up their mouth. Nobody ever wants to say, oh, shit's not looking good out there. Wait a sec. Did I just whisper into the microphone? I know somebody else. It's not looking good out there. So as soon as they did, go ahead and say that, right? Stocks dropped 9.6%, and they're already down. What say you, Mr. Tim Parnell, Duke of the Dollar?
You know, to me, I look at 12% or 9% or maybe even low double digits, and I think, you know, that's not too bad because I'm over there looking at the crypto markets going, son of a... Anyway, that being said, you know, it's different when you're looking at actual big company stocks and how the average rate of return on the stock market is 7 to 12% or 15%, depending on who's in power. And so, yeah, 12%, 10%, 9%, all these are significant numbers on people's portfolios, and they're usually indicative of something going on that is notable. You know, like, I mean, let's be honest, it's on par with what Twitter dropped. And there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'm just saying.
Wait a second. Twitter's dropping and going crazy because Mr. Elon Musk is just slapping the dogs over there in the Twitter fence.
That's what I'm saying. So
I mean, he is just straight playing with these people over at Twitter. They don't even know what to do.
As much turmoil has caused the Twitter stock to drop, Redfin's on par with that, and that's a notable number to me. It just suggests some things that should be, you know, looked at. That's all. What do you got?
Wait a second. I think this is an appropriate time to say Zillow said. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Kirk, what say you on the Redfin drop? Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that it would be the slowest it's been in 2 years. It was the hottest market we've seen in 20 years over the last 2 years during the pandemic. The historical charts we've been tracking since 2006. The average properties that fall out of contracts about 15%. We're at about 17% right now on our adjustment. So I think market is stabilizing.
Yeah.
Leveling out.
Yeah. All right, Nick, you heard it from Captain Kirk and the Duke of the Dollar. What say you on Redfin?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, so we're all feeling it. We're all feeling like, hey, this is what's happening. Everything's kind of flipped on its head. The buyers all of a sudden are kind of shaking their finger like they're the ones in control. Like, everything's kind of just been turned around in the past, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. One thing I have noticed on my side, and I encourage most agents should be logging in their MLS every single day and checking the hot sheet, right? Set up the hot sheet.
Oh, wait, what is the hot sheet?
So like on your dashboard, you can set up different alerts, if you will, for different areas like your farm area, all the things that you should be keeping track of. I go a step further and I have reports that come to my email address. So like I have searches set up for myself in my farm areas just to see the activity of what's going on that gets emailed directly to me, like I was a customer searching for a house, right? And one thing that I've noticed, I'm sure other agents who do this notice, the amount of price reductions that have happened in the past 2 weeks. They're coming out multiple times a day, where before that, 2 weeks ago, I hadn't seen a price reduction in any price point probably for 12 to 18 months.
And
Now,
you're
all of a sudden, I'm
you're
getting
in
them multiple times
Tampa.
a
You're
day.
in one of the hottest markets in the U.S.
They're not huge price reductions. It's not desperation. I think it's the educated listing agents who are seeing what's going on and have a very good, what's the word? Not demeanor or rapport with their sellers to tell them this is what's going on. I would advise you to start the process early and get ahead of it because we're still at the peak. You can still peak out and make more money now, but the very professional real estate agents are advising price reductions already. So it's very interesting to see just how many have come through, but it's definitely a different market than it was a month ago. There's no doubt about it.
Paul, what's going on in your neck of the woods? What's happening in North Carolina? Same kind of thing.
I agree.
Hey, wait, do you have a hot sheet?
I do. I have hot sheets. I use it daily, and I keep my stats up. And every agent right now needs
I'm not a realtor, but Kirk, I need a damn hot sheet.
I like the hot sheet. I like to know what's going on. Games are fun to play when we know the score and the rules.
Jake, you have a hot shave. So
Yeah, I do have a hot shave,
there.
and that is wonderful. And I am not happy because inflation hit my hot shave. Now I'm paying $12.99 for my hot shave. That's ridiculous. Do you want to go down?
Do you even know the rabbit hole for a second?
What's that?
Yes, you want to go down the rabbit hole for a second? Has the price of beer and liquor gone up the same as other items at the grocery store?
Oh yeah, but nobody even looks at the beer and liquor price. They just buy it.
So I don't know this 100% because I'm not a drinker. So I'll put that asterisk there. But just in a little bit of research after I listened to this one fellow who made some real good sense the other day, say milk and eggs have gone up 300%. Beer's only gone up 100%. So the things that we need to take us out of our own reality, like substance, are not pacing with the inflation with everything else because they want us to keep consuming those things at a higher rate to forget about what's going on.
Well, listen, I mean, this is why the beer gods gave us Bush and Natty Light.
Stop. Right, when you go to natural,
I'm getting off track here, right? We're talking about inflation.
Well, wait a second. So that's funny that you said that too. There is a TikTok challenge going on right now where I don't know if it's a TikTok challenge or real. Anyway, it's a beer challenge, and there's one for soda too, where somebody has a box in front of them with like 6 straws on top, and there's 6 different types of whatever the drink is. It could be soda, it could be beer. You wouldn't believe how many people can't tell the difference between Bud Light, Michelob, Bush, Natty Light. It's like constantly. Once I started watching one, I started getting served all of them. So like if you did a blind taste test of Natty Light, Paul, which you're laughing at, versus like a premium beer, you probably won't be able to tell the difference.
No, I will be able to tell. I can tell the difference between Stella.
You're a little bit a little different, but the average person, a beer's a beer.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen that are watching, can you tell the difference between Natty Light, Bush, Michelob, and give me another one?
Or
Miller.
Miller. So let us know. All right, let's get back to the real estate side of the house. I think, but beer is always a good thing to talk about.
Sorry, I derailed. That was a derail. Yeah.
Paul, so are you seeing some of the same thing in your neck of the woods regarding?
Yeah, so me personally, it says that 9% of the stock came down with Redfin. That's the market goes like this. The real estate market, I'm still selling homes. I'm showing homes after today. I've got another buyer's appointment as soon as we get off this broadcast. It's not slowing me down at all. Hot sheets are great. If you're a real estate agent and you want to be successful, you need to be looking at that thing religiously throughout the day. Total inventory here in North Carolina, we got 2,000 in the triad. We got 2,268 homes on the market. That is just escalating up. Today, 37 new listings, price decrease 11. pending 70, closing 21 today. And it's not even, is it past noon? Expired, there's 4. I looked on the days on the market for the expired listings, 16, that's only a little bit 2 weeks, 41, 88 days, 111 days, and 124 days. Back on the market, again, there's 4, not the same houses. 2 are pending, 2 are in due diligence. They fell out and they came back on the market. So these are stats you have to keep up with, agents out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like inventory is obviously creeping up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Well, let's tap into a report that we see down in Maricopa County. And if you don't know where Maricopa is, it's that place in Arizona. It's the big one. It's a big county. Typically in the news quite a bit, but their inventory is now up over 17,000 from a month-over-month average of 4,500. So let's take a look at that.
Higher interest rates are now causing Arizona's housing market to tap the brakes a little bit. And that's creating a ripple effect among buyers and sellers.
Team 12's Joe Dana spoke to an expert and checks in to see what's changing.
As we all know, mortgage rates are up. Rates were at a historic 2.7% in December of 2020, just above 3% at the beginning of this year, and are now anywhere between 5.5 and 5.8%.
Depending on the person's situation. I mean, that, 1, 2, 3 basis points can mean a large chunk, number one, for buying power and what they will actually get approved from for a lender and what they can actually afford.
Kelly Schmidt is with Scottsdale-based Jason Mitchell Group and sells homes around Maricopa County. The second change in the market, inventory is up. During the last couple of years, there was an average of 3,500 to 4,500 homes on the market in the valley in a given time period. That number is now around 17,000, quadruple the amount. Schmidt says a house that may have attracted dozens of buyers a few months ago may not anymore.
I have a friend that has a listing he put up in Peoria that he hasn't got a peep in 1 week, which, 6 months ago was unheard of.
The third way the housing market is changing, prices have slowed down. Schmidt says higher rates have slowed down the buying frenzy, but it's still relatively hot.
Home values they're not tanked. It still is a seller's market to a certain degree.
That brings us to the fourth change in the housing market. Buyers have more leverage.
I'm able to negotiate deals now. Before we were waiving repairs, we were waiving inspections, we were doing all these ridiculous things.
Schmidt says for home buyers who have the flexibility to buy at higher interest rates, negotiating a price point they like may allow them to refinance down the road. Joe Dana, 12 News.
So roughly a month ago, the Fed went ahead and increased the basis points 3/4. Right. And so a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the mainstream news is now some adjustment that's starting to go ahead and happen. Right. And everybody's saying, what's this thing? What's this thing? Mr. Kirk, what say you? You just got back from outer space talking to 100 economists, Klingons. Bring it down to us.
Reading their reports. Yeah. I think I like to see a balanced market. Right. I like to see buyers and sellers negotiating. I'm not a big fan of buyers ever giving up their rights and contingencies and inspections. So the fact that that's coming back into the market, I think is actually stabilizing. We got a long way to go. We were still 100% under inventory levels. So I like to see the inventory rising. I like to see things stabilizing. We're also going into the summer months. So we would start to expect, normally inventory will start to rise going into August. So we're a little bit early, but still 25% of transactions are selling for all cash. And but we're tightening. The market's gonna get tight. Still, we did about 4.2 trillion last year in sales in the last 12 months, and we're expected to do about 2.6 trillion in the next year. So it's going to slow down, but 2.6 trillion would still be the third best sales year in the last 50.
Oh, yeah, I think you went to mute. Mr. Tim, what say you?
Oh boy. So
what a deep breath.
Yeah, he's like the old man trying to get up off the couch right now. Let me get adjusted.
Yeah. All right. So, I often repeat myself, and that's a good thing because consistency may not be accurate, but it is consistent. Anyway, where I stand is, I agree with Kirk. We are going to go to a balanced market, but not before we have a full-on brake pumping from buyers who are what drive the market. And I know that I just had a listing that we took an offer on this weekend at the price point is what's fairly a decent new home buyer price point at $300,000 in our area. And I would have expected 2 months ago to get 30 to 40 showings on that house in a weekend. And I had it set up as such, but I also had the expectations tempered. We got 3 showings for all of Saturday and Sunday, but we did get 3 offers. That being said, I mean, that's a significant drop off, right, as far as percentages go. And I had prepared the sellers to say, hey, look, this is going to be, the market has shifted, and I'm not exactly sure how this is going to play out, but let's just be prepared for that. And so the expectations were tempered, but the reality is there. The buyers drive the market. And when the buyers get cold feet and they do it collectively and that herd mentality takes over and they all pump the brakes, it ain't going to be a balanced market. It's going to be a dip. It's going to be a lull or some pause period. You'll still have the buyers out there that want to get in and see it for the opportunity that it is. But between the interest rates and the fear, that's going to cause that pendulum to swing hard the other direction before it comes back to some idea of balanced.
Yeah. So 3 offers in a weekend, that's not bad. It seems like a normal
thing
that used to happen throughout the years before craziness happened.
What's wild is that's a great weekend of putting a house on the market. But those expectations have been just absolutely diluted or delusional for the last 3 to 4 years. And now as we swing back to something that should be more normal, or just even the house being on the market for a month, which should be closer to a balanced or 2 or 3, that's going to just scare the crap out of some agents. And so just people need to prepare themselves that's what real reality looks like.
So Nick, you have a special way that your team lists homes. I really love the fact that you guys bring up the food trucks and free beer.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Well,
increasing the offer substantially, getting
it's
everybody
probably
to
food trucks and piss water if Nick's got anything to do with it, because it all tastes the same to him.
I mentioned one TikTok challenge, and all of a sudden I'm a Bud Light drinker. Calm down, bro.
What's the inventory looking like in Tampa? You said you're watching your hot sheets.
Yeah, every day we're getting price reductions. Every day we're seeing, the house, like Tim said, we had a listing a couple weeks ago. Normal market, we would have been thrilled. The seller would have been thrilled. Open house, 3 people walked through, 1 offer, sold that weekend. But it wasn't a bidding war. It wasn't a frenzy of people standing outside waiting to get in. So my advice right now, if you're an agent and you were working with people 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago who bowed out and were frustrated with what was going on, now is the time to pick up the phone and call these people and give them some facts and say, hey, remember when we were looking and there was only 1 house in your price point that came up on your search and we got outbid 47 times? Well, now in that same search, there's 12 houses and there's no more bidding wars, essentially. So now might be a good time to go grab a cup of coffee with these people, show them some numbers, show them that it might be a good time to get back out there and start looking again. It's a great excuse for a phone call, at the very least, a text message. What are you up to? The market's changed. Let's go grab a bite to eat or something and connect again. So if you missed out, if these people missed out 4 months ago, 5 months ago, they definitely should be in the game now.
Very interesting. So, Kirk, let's go ahead and go back to what we said on the last program. What should real estate professionals be doing, and what should renters be doing right now in preparation to go ahead and purchase in the future? Walk everybody through that. I think we should recap this.
Yeah, totally. I think, first, I love what Tim said about over communicate. It's really about communication, explaining, showing the data, managing the expectations. And, and to what Nick said, there's going to be more properties for sale. So there's opportunity, but we have to put buyers on a path to buy. We have to let them understand where they sit today, get them pre-approved early for their mortgage, and show them what they need to do. The biggest challenge today is down payment. It's more than anything else. The underwriting is tightening a little bit, but it's really that down payment number. So getting people on a path to buy, doing a little budgeting, improving credit scores, and saving up that down payment, and maybe being willing to use that FHA loan with the lower down payment, even though there's some mortgage insurance which we don't like, but getting into a home in the long run is much better benefit than renting.
Yeah, for sure. And credit seems to be a big thing too for these buyers, right? So getting them on a positive path with credit.
Yeah, and they're starting to change the underwriting guidelines. I was reading last night, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to start using rental payments. So if you have no credit score, your credit score is low, they're going to start looking at your good rental payment history and adding that in. Fannie Mae started a few months ago, and Freddie Mac just started this week. So they're changing the underwriting guidelines. They're going to start making it a little bit easier for people to qualify. So really, it's that focus on that down payment right now.
It's the ultimate home buyer program with Captain Kirk Jaffe. Go check it out. Call Captain Kirk to go ahead and find out how you can go ahead and help service your customers. He's got a really good plan. All right, so times are tough, ladies and gentlemen, and the copper thieves are out and about in Texas. Tim, I think you should be driving around in your big old truck policing the AT&T lines for these folks. What say you?
It was ridiculous, man. I mean, I know times are desperate, but is there just like a bunch of linemen out there laid off, just mad, just cutting wires? That's some specialty equipment to pull that off. But Lordy, that's and dangerous. Good God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, what the problem is they're cutting off communication services to people that absolutely need it, and that's a big problem. So let's go ahead and see what the copper thieves are doing in Texas.
Dallas police and AT&T are trying to stop copper thieves taking down lines and taking out phone and internet service. In some places like Southwest Oak Cliff, the thefts and outages have happened several times. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has the story.
So AT&T crews like these behind me are working all across Southwest Oak Cliff. They're restoring cable lines, cables that have been cut by thieves to steal the copper. And in their efforts to steal the copper, in many cases, they're cutting off lifelines to people in neighborhoods.
They're coming in and they're stealing this bottom wire right here of the AT&T cable lines to get the copper wire out from the inside of it.
These are all copper wires here.
Entire neighborhoods, like here near Boulder Drive and Keys Boulevard, cables repeatedly being taken out by thieves.
And given that the rise in copper prices has went up, that's causing more crime involving theft.
It takes out the whole neighborhood's cable, internet, and phone. So anybody that has a landline, they've now lost their ability to call 911. Anybody who works for the internet, uses internet for cell service or working from home, they no longer have the ability to do that.
Since Thursday, so it's been what seems to be a lot longer.
No phone, internet, or cable for Jimmy Martinez since Thursday, with kids in the house and trying to work from home.
Been doing mobile hotspots since then. So certain things that I run, they're a little bit over capacity. Slowness is experienced, and of course, I cannot do anything with the internet for the kids. So work I've been covered, but it's been barely.
AT&T employees will be in marked up vehicles and vests with logos. Anyone else on a ladder with a saw, call 911.
Each section of cable could be 100 to 200 feet long, and in some cases, they could be stealing 2 to 10 sections at a time.
Each section costing $10,000 to $15,000 to repair.
We really need the public to help us with this because it's happening in front of their eyes. They just don't know it.
These images show what's called burn sites, where the thieves burn off the outer covering of the copper cable so it can be sold raw to recyclers.
We're trying to work with our scrap yards where the metal is sold to try to start flagging people who are coming in with hundreds of pounds of copper wire that doesn't really add up.
The copper thefts costing tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost equipment and then in repairs, plus the man hours. Not only that, but in neighborhoods that lose phone lines, potentially putting people in danger. Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
I've got a $100 gift card burning a hole in my pocket for any of you out there that goes ahead and catches yourself a copper thief. Just let old Sarge know. I don't like thieves. No. I don't like thieves. And you know what? These poor people that can't call 911 because they just cut the damn phone lines.
Well, this is not a tweaker stealing a catalytic converter out from underneath your vehicle out in the street. This is a Ocean's 11 operation, probably with vehicles. They probably look very official. I doubt it's just a dude climbing up on a ladder on a pole because they wouldn't even be able to get a very large section. So whoever like actually successfully did this probably looked like a real crew before this attention was drawn on them. And they'll probably be in a different county doing the same thing, right?
Interesting. Tim, what's Texas going to do about this? You don't mess with Texas.
I'll just say that's not a great state to do this in. I would probably go somewhere else if I was.
I wasn't going to say out loud what I had in my head, where I'm like, all right, so I've got an upstairs window right here. And,
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, Texas is definitely a place where they don't tolerate a whole lot. So, we got that going for us. But like Nick's saying, that they probably are doing it in a way that makes them look more official, so you wouldn't know until it's too late. But I just think about, my entire business, as many businesses are, is from home, and that would absolutely torpedo the ability to do that. You know, I mean,
kids in the house, summertime, dude. You're talking about a pissed off household.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, at least my kids, like, they don't get to do television and internet and all that stuff, so they would just do what they do, which is play and use their imagination. But it would drive me bonkers, because I wouldn't be able to make my ends meet. So, yeah.
What is our American citizenry going to do without Netflix in these cases? That's terrible. Terrible. Paul, what say you on this? You like these copper thieves?
I do not. I mean, go get a job. Everyone's hiring. I just pulled up the price of copper. It's $3.52 a pound. And if you can get a ton of it, it's $7,040 a ton right now for the price of copper. And I don't understand.
I can't make $7,000 a day without ripping some copper off. No kidding.
I mean, they're obviously professionals. I don't know if there's a part B to this, a plan B. Think about it. They're cutting out, they're stealing the copper, they're getting money for it, and then the people do not have any access to call for help. So what is this? Is there going to be raids going on? Is there going to be higher crime rates?
It's happening. It's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime that we start seeing inflation or people have issues with money, prices go up like this, we start seeing these types of things, right? So I do highly urge you to spread the word inside of your community. Let people know what's happening in Texas, because it could happen in your neck of the woods. Also, keep a close eye on your gas tanks, ladies and gentlemen. During the last housing crisis and economic crisis, it was all over the mainstream news. People were coming up and literally drilling holes in the bottom of your gas tanks and putting pans underneath them. Yeah. So keep a close eye on it. If you've got lights outside your house, turn them on at night. Do whatever you can. Tell the communities that you live in, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, because we will have more and more of these leeches that try to go ahead and take advantage of all of the hardworking folks in the United States. So just be prepared. We don't want to see anything happen to our listeners, and spread the word. So any final takeaways on this?
Yeah, don't they have the ability to track cell phones? Haven't we seen something on that recently where they just geo-track your cell phone? Can't they do that to find these guys? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. So, but I'll tell you what, the best way to go ahead and combat this is right at the recycling center.
I know. And really they have cameras there too. So
anyway. Yep. You take away their advantage of making money with that stolen goods, then you're in the game. So, but all right, good deal. Let's move on here. We're going to jump into mortgage news with Captain Kirk Jaffe. It's getting more and more interesting out there, but the captain himself has flown to a weird Klingon world and talked to the Klingon economists. Do they look weird? I mean, do they have like a different look?
Well, they all wear pocket protectors. So no, they're normal guys.
Normal? Do they eat anything? Do they like steak?
Ribeyes.
Ribeyes. Okay. So the pocket protector wearing Klingon economists that eat ribeye steaks, and Kirk is home safely to give us the news. Break it down for us. What's happening in the mortgage world?
Well, we see mortgage rates are kind of holding at 5.7, 5.8% right now. Potentially could be coming down a little bit more heading into the July Fed meeting on July 26th, where we expect another 75 basis point hike. So like I predicted earlier this month, we'll see rates come down into the end of the summer, head back up going into Q1, and then probably starting to head down a little bit longer after that next Fed hike. Some of those Klingon economists are looking at potentially 3% rates down the road. So
I think
they're full reversal.
I think their ribeye steaks are a little undercooked.
You think so?
I don't know. It's like the Duke of the Dollar always says, it's kind of an everything situation. Did you know we're pulling back the tariffs from China?
Yeah.
So now it's going to enrich their economy, and we're not going to have the revenues from it like we had previously. And there's a whole bunch of folks that are flooding towards the southern border like crazy that we all now have to go ahead and help pay for. And we're sending money out of the country in multiple millions and billions of dollars. The president is saying that we are in a time of war and peril. I don't know. Like I said, the housing market seems to be the tail of the dog on this thing. I'm looking at other contributing factors. However, I'm hoping that you're right. So let me ask you this. If we go ahead and within 12 to 18 months, if we go back to a low interest rate type situation, it's just going to go ahead and spur off the same type of housing craziness that we've seen over the last 12 to 18 months.
It's only happened in every recession from 1970 forward. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking at lowest unemployment rates, and that is generally like when that starts ticking up, which we'll see in the next couple months as all the reports are coming in with unemployment, right? That's the last domino to go before we really see a recession. And I think what we're going to see is what's played out in every other recession. Housing stays stable or strong. Rates are going to start coming back down because what they raise up, they're going to have to lower once the inflation gets under control.
So, ladies and gentlemen that are watching, the captain literally sat down and watched over 100 economists give their opinion on the direction and flow of where we're going in this great country. So the average of all of those averages blended into home price appreciation, looking at 15% over the next 5 years.
Yeah, combined. Probably be flat in 2023 and then, go up at the normal pace, but over 5 years aggregate, they're looking at about 15%. So still a strong market, as I said earlier, even with the inventory going up and total market dropping from 4.6 trillion down to 2.6 trillion or thereabouts, would still be the third strongest real estate market in the last 15 years. So I think, it's that communication. I love what Nick has to say. The sky is not falling. Get out there, talk to your previous clients, talk to people that couldn't get into a house earlier, that maybe have more opportunities because there's inventory now to buy. But there's still going to be a lot of action out there for the housing market going forward.
We covered that sellers are helping, doing some stuff to go ahead and help buyers. Cover that again for us. What are they doing?
Yeah, lots of things you can do. Be creative. The 2-1 buy downs are coming back and are popular. ARM loans are going to be more popular here into the next 18 months. We're seeing a lot of these companies go out of business. So if you're on an Alt-A program, if you're a business owner or self-employed and you're looking for those sprout mortgage type loans with P&L and bank statements instead of tax returns, be careful. Make sure your lender's in a stable position because those lenders in particular are going out of business right now. And I watched a website back in 2006. It was called the Implodometer. And we were watching every day the banks that were imploding because you had to move the loans to a different bank. And so 8 o'clock in the morning, you find out that bank failed and you'd be scrambling to send to the next bank. That's coming back online. So go check out the Implodometer. There's a lot of good information in there. I don't think we're going to see a ton of bank bank failures, if you will, but probably a lot of consolidation going into the next year.
So you've had to make some adjustments with all of your team here over the last 30 to 60 days, and you're getting very involved. Tell us some of the pitfalls that people are having in the mortgage industry right now and what you're doing differently to go ahead and help alleviate those concerns for these people.
Yeah, it's just like Nick said, you have to know your inventory. On the mortgage side, you have to know your products. So my team is spending, probably 30% of their time right now reading new guidelines, scouring the headlines from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, finding out what's changing in the underwriting guidelines there and the automated systems. For example, they are getting really tight on liquidity after close. They want to make sure that people have more savings. And they're actually adding in these different concepts, like you can use your rent as a line item on your credit now if your credit score is a little bit low. They're trying to make it easier for people to get into homes, but again, focus on that down payment piece. And for my team, it's all about educating the borrowers, getting people pre-approved up front, and making sure they have time to find the right place to do that negotiation and read those guidelines. Know the rules better than anybody else.
Yeah. So the June report went ahead and came out and it was talking about 30% or more as far as like drop in mortgage applications or less transactions. And there's been a large bulk of the people that have gotten unqualified after the latest Fed increase. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's true. The monthly payments and the debt ratio is getting a little tougher. That goes again back to that down payment piece. Some people need to put a little bit more down in order to offset the higher interest rates. But mortgages are inanimate objects. They're tools. They're financial tools, and I try and educate my borrowers to understand. We heard it last week. What do they say? Date the rate and marry the house. Rates are going to change, and products are going to change. So it's really just a matter of knowing how to sidestep and how to use the availability of what's in the marketplace today to get the best deal. But pay as few points as you can. Rates are more than likely going to come down over the next, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. So don't be afraid of an ARB loan. If you got a 5-year period, if you know you're going to be in your house for 5 to 8 years, go ahead and take that ARM loan and look for that refinance opportunity. If you're carrying a lot of credit card debt, which is happening right now, and you have equity in your home, which most homeowners do right now, record equity, I think it's something like $12 trillion is the available equity that would leave people still at 80% loan to value. So leaving 20% of your equity in your home, there's still $12 trillion of equity available. Better to use a home mortgage, tax deductions, lower interest rate, fixed interest rate, than paying those high credit card fees. And every time the Fed raises short-term rates, credit card rates go up as well. So right now, credit cards are about 19%, heading to 22%. And if you're carrying a lot of debt and you have that mortgage, might be better to fix it in at 6-7%, rather than paying 19 or 20.
Get prepared. Hey, Captain Kirk, tell us about this best-selling book that you went ahead and wrote. What is this thing?
Yeah, we're teaching real estate agents across the country how to get 9 new referrals from every transaction. And, I've done some research on in the last week how the real estate agents are doing when they're buying leads from Zillow or all those online places. Most of those agents are not finding a lot of success, or they're maybe getting a 2-to-1 return. You spend $1, you earn $2, but after you pay your commissions and your taxes, probably not that great. I prefer to show people how to build relationships, build teams, and generate those referrals at essentially zero cost. So infinite upside. Give me a call if you want to know how to do it, and download the book. It's free. Out here to help people, help the agent.
Jaffe.com, ladies and gentlemen. Kirk Jaffe, JAFFE.com. And Kirk can be reached at 818-469-2189. All right. Thank you for keeping us in tune with the mortgage news. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jake. See you guys next week.
See you, buddy.
All right. Well, back to our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. If you go ahead and think about listing and selling your home and you don't go to Freedom Move USA, you're going to end up spending $10,000 to $25,000. So we highly urge that you go find an agent that's certified with Freedom Move USA, capture that savings. It'll go a long way, especially in a inflated, recessed marketplace or a time of war and extreme peril. So good deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to our final segment. Inflation is causing housing affordability crisis and homelessness. We've got a little bit of a report to review. We're going to roundtable this, and we'll go from there.
The 40-year high inflation rate is worsening homelessness in America. According to a Washington Post article, shelters across the country are reporting an increase in numbers of people looking for help. Rents are continuing to rise at the fastest pace in decades. Rachel Siegel co-authored that report, and she joins me now. She is an economics reporter for the Post covering the Federal Reserve and economy. Rachel, good to have you. So in your report, you mentioned that there are families who still have steady, good-paying jobs, but cannot find a home. Why is that?
Sure. So in addition to escalating rent, the cost of absolutely everything is going up for families: gas, groceries, childcare. And when you combine all of those things at once, families that we talked to describe just one little bit of bad luck or just the cumulative toll of such a high cost of living as making it so that for the first time in their lives, they might not have a roof over their head at the end of the day. We spoke to shelter officials in 15 states all over the country who said that they are seeing an uptick in families, especially single mothers, and many people with jobs who suddenly just cannot scrape by given such high cost of living.
I think that that's the thing that is going to strike people the most about this story, that somebody with a good, steady job is experiencing homelessness for them and their family. Perhaps you can share some of the stories of people that you spoke with. How did they end up experiencing homelessness?
Sure. I mean, we spoke with a number of families who echoed a lot of the same themes. There was one mother in particular, Sabrina Barger Turner, who has 2 sons, and she's been spending quite a bit of time in and out of hotels or sleeping in her car. The cost of cobbling together a monthly or even a nightly hotel rate is probably more expensive than getting a lease. But she told us that because of her low credit or just an inability to keep up with jobs since she was first evicted in March 2020 has made it so it's a night-to-night struggle. Even trying to cobble together some extra money on DoorDash has become prohibitive because of such high gas prices. And so sometimes she sleeps in her Nissan Cube and sends her 8 and 13-year-old sons to stay with family for the night.
The struggle is real. I mean, everybody is paying more right now, and it is pulling money out of our savings. People are putting money on credit. Their credit scores are diminishing. It is kind of an everything situation, as the Duke of the Dollar says. You know, for so many years, Americans have been told to work hard, take extra money, invest it into an IRA, invest it into a 401k. And that's just about all the financial literacy that most people have, right? And there are other vehicles out there. There are ways to go ahead and protect your wealth, to make it work for you, to go ahead and manifest more money. And Paul, what is our slogan here for 2022? What is it?
No breaks.
Yeah, no breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, when times get tough, we as Americans need to go ahead and lace up our boots even harder and get after it. So we can't all sit here in this delusional mindset of things are going to go ahead and just get better, and hopefully we have to change. We have to be reactionary if they're forcing actions, and we have to be proactive and be dependable for yourself and everybody else that depends on you. So I don't like seeing any of our Americans struggle at all whatsoever. I want everybody to be blessed and unstoppable. We live in the greatest country in the whole world. I know this. I fought on the front lines in Afghanistan, and I'm proud to have said that I've done it. And when I come home, I want everybody to have a wonderful opportunity. I want everybody to go ahead and come here to this country to go ahead and help it become blessed and unstoppable. So let's go ahead and let's roundtable this here. Let's talk about some financial literacy and some things to think about and what we should be doing as far as no breaks. And if any of you real estate professionals are watching right now, now is the time more so than ever to take massive amounts of action for your business, because we see mainstream economists talking about how the real estate market is going to be in a struggle type position, and the majority of real estate professionals, mortgage and real estate agent side most likely will be in the chow line at the end of the year. And that's not nice to hear from some of the mainstream folks. But financial literacy, Tim, what should people be doing? How can we assist the Americans out there?
So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna run with it a little bit here, if it's okay with you. One thing to note is we've got this Thursday, 8 p.m. Central is going to be our first ever webinar directed directly to real estate agents, okay, and real estate professionals. I mean, it doesn't have to be just a realtor, but and the reason why is because you are in a unique position as kind of a frontline individual between the customer client and their largest transaction they're ever going to do. Well, there's a lot of reasons why they might be taking on that transaction right now, because it may not be upgrading to another house. Most likely it's something else. It probably has something to do with finances. So we want to arm you with the information that you can have to be out there talking to these people, to give them more hope, more be a better service, because now you have information that you didn't otherwise have that they need to hear, or at least a resource to refer to. And we just explain to you how we do what we do and how we're beneficial for these people. Now, you hear me say everything bubble. I look at the macros, and the macro is beyond the United States. If anybody's paying attention at all, the term is way overused. The sky is falling. Like, I'm not into that. The sky is not going to fall. Okay. But we are going to go through an economic transition. That's going to happen. And if you don't believe it, just look what's going on across the world right now. You've literally got farmers in protest because their countries have said, we're going to take all your land and we're going to make it part of the government's. It's no longer yours. And so you've got farmers that are protesting this in different countries. Sri Lanka overthrew its own government. You've got civil unrest all over the world, and they're going after the central banks as well. You got weird stuff going on in Canada. Okay. You've got the Federal Reserve in the United States is not your friend. The IRS is not your friend. Okay. These entities are not your friend. And I'm telling you, the reason why you make the choices you do on your money, the majority of people, is because that's what we've been taught to believe by the same system that's not your friend. And so I just want to be able to bring some information to people that helps them protect themselves from not just the system, but what's also coming financially. And it doesn't cost you a dime. And that's the best part. We just do it for free. We understand that the more people we can educate, the more opportunities we have to liberate Americans and financially liberate. And so that's our mission. We are full steam ahead on this thing. And we also know that realtors are uniquely positioned. We want to educate them. We're starting this Thursday with that. So yeah.
This Thursday, what time? And where can people go to find out about the event?
8 p.m. Central. I do not have we're still kind of polishing the registration website. So as soon as I get that, I'll shoot it to you, and it'll definitely be ready by this upcoming show.
So how can people get in touch with you, Tim, directly?
If you want to contact me directly about that or anything else, you can reach me at tim@patriotwealthnation.com.
Good deal. Thank you, Tim. Paul, our Americans are hurting right now. And what say you on this final segment?
You know, that clip really touched my heart. I hate that. I hate for anyone to be homeless in this country. We've got rents that went up 30%. Okay, and people are trying to renegotiate their rents. And if you're renting right now, renegotiate your rent, your lease agreement. And it's almost as if, the inventory is opening up. So I do think there's opportunity for people who are like in this woman's position. A lot of it is what Kirk said, down payment. I'm very fortunate to be in a state that gives $8,000 assistance for down payment. In North Carolina, I have helped a lot of families who are renting in some really rough areas get into a house that thought they could not get into a house just by talking to my lender, because North Carolina is giving you $8,000 and Greensboro was giving you $4,000. They might have changed it now, but Greensboro was giving you $4,000 off the purchase price. And they might have upped it to 10. The cities changed their what they give. So you want to check on that. But it breaks my heart to see this. Inventory's opening up, interest rates are going up, rents are going up, the cost of living is going up. And like you said, Jake, we're on the tail end here. Well, if we're on the tail end here, what we're seeing with everything else, we're going to see in our neck of the woods as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is earnings month. We talked about earlier in the show. Some of the biggest companies in the United States of America are going to go ahead and report their earnings and dividends and shares and everything else, all their shareholder meetings. It will be interesting over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're already seeing a negative GDP. We're seeing 2 quarters of slowdown, which everybody says is a recession. We know that the Fed is going to go ahead and adjust again in some form or fashion here on the 25th. And so 2022, no breaks. Please help educate yourself so that you and your families are blessed and unstoppable. And also you have that knowledge you can pass along to some of the other Americans. That's very important right now. So we all need to get to work. Nick, what say you?
I think I'm with Paul. There's a lot of people struggling. You look on Facebook and Instagram, and it's still everybody's highlight reels out there, like everything's great and vacations are awesome. And like that's a very small percentage of people. There's a lot more behind the scenes of people that are hurting right now. And I think from a job standpoint, so if I was to give anybody advice on that, now's the greatest time in history for you to work from home, and also the best opportunity for you to have multiple jobs at home. If you are working from home right now and your employer and you're struggling to get by, I encourage you to just apply for other online work from home positions. And if you end up working for someone and then you work for another employer and then you work for another employer, like you could literally, I know people that are stacking 2 or 3 work from home jobs right now at once. So that's an option if you're just a job person. If you're not a job person and you're a business person, right now is also the best time to sharpen your skills. So something as simple like you want a side hustle, you want to look at skills that actually pay, go online and get certifications through Google. You can go to Skillshare.com. You can get Google certifications. You can go to Facebook. You can get Facebook certifications. You can become certified in the digital marketing space for 3-4 weeks maybe of classes, less than a couple $100. And there's companies that will hire you on the spot with certifications to work from home to make more income. So I would advise you, if you're getting priced out of the market, if you're one of the people that have gotten laid off, it's unfair, it sucks, but you need to sharpen your skills in things that are actually paying money, right? So look at the market, what is paying, everything's online. Look at Skillshare, look at certifications you can get, look at Google, look at cryptocurrency and Web3 development. Like now's the time to really look at the skills that within the next 5 to 10 years are going to be here and continue to pay.
I know. So I've known a lot of people throughout the last couple of years that have subsidized their income with DoorDash type stuff. What's another one? Like Instacart, where they're shopping for other people. It was very popular during the pandemic, especially because people didn't want to go into public places. But I'm hearing that those type of opportunities have really gotten diluted because there's saturated. A lot of people are doing it. So
the fastest path to making double your income, like there's a lot of gurus online that'll say, do the webinar, like sell that, like there's all this gold rush stuff online. The fastest path for a normal person to double their income is to get a second job working from home in the same thing that they're doing now. Legitimately, you work from home as somebody for, Bright House or somebody answering the phones, get another one of those same exact jobs on different hours. It's the same skill set you're already doing. There's other companies that are hiring. Nobody's checking to see if you're working for another company. It's not part of the process. They don't care. As long as you're available for the hours, get 2 work from home jobs in the same space that you're in right now. Like that's literally the fastest path. Yeah. After that, it's acquiring new skills that will pay.
So also, if you're a real estate agent and you're not yet certified with Freedom Move USA, you should be, because you literally can turn around, double your listing pipeline by telling everybody inside of your phone, just come check with me first before you talk to any other agents. Let me see how much I can help you save. And that's very important right now in this type of economy. So go check out. I would
consider that a skill, Jake. Why? Because that's a skill of you actually having a real offer to go to market in your marketplace, right? Most agents don't have a real unique selling proposition. That is a skill. The top professionals in every market have a unique selling proposition. That is a skill that they've honed. That is a product that they've developed and they push out to the market, and that's very successful. Freedom Move USA is our version of that for the average agent. It is a skill that you learn how to craft and develop in your market.
Yep. And it works fantastic. All of it. So the story goes here, ladies and gentlemen, we're in some tumultuous times, some rough water, but there are opportunities abound in positive markets, negative markets. So be proactive, get educated, and keep moving. So
if you're an agent who's struggling, like I've said this before, there's no shame in joining a team that's dominating your market. Like literally, if you haven't figured it out, if you've been in the business for 2, 3, 4 years and aren't making the money you want to make, there's probably a dozen or more top brokers / teams in your market that are absolutely crushing it, hair on fire, busy, that you could join and plug yourself in and make more money than you're making now.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead, Paul.
If I can comment on that, now's the time as real estate brokers to really look into, I like what Nick said. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a single agent out there and you're having a really hard time, join a team, because the team's going to teach you two very important things you need to know as an agent. That is, number one, marketing skills, and number two, negotiation skills. You need to have these as a broker. And why do I say that? Just look at private sellers. I like to call them private sellers. That's a for sale by owner. Look at private sellers right now. They're going to need marketing help, because before it was a stronger seller's market. They didn't need an agent. They knew that, at least in my market center. Okay, each market's a little bit different. Now there's more homes on the market. Inventory's rising. There's less agents knocking on FSBO's doors. It's a great time for an agent to go knock on their door and say, I look at your house. Your house doesn't sell for four reasons: location, condition, marketing, and exposure. So now's a good time to get out there as an agent and say, I've got the marketing skills. You're in the right location. You got the price. I said exposure price. Your price is right. Your location's right. You're missing the exposure. List with me and I'll get your home sold. And you can do that through marketing. And Freedom Move USA offers great value to that, because you can get people moved as a discount rate. Moving costs money. Everything in this country, this was brought by a diesel truck. Everything we have is brought by a diesel truck. It costs money. Show some value to your clients.
Yep. Amen. Be proactive, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, how can people get in touch with you if they need representation in North Carolina?
Oh, yeah. So 336-963-3684. And you can reach me on social media at Paul NC Realtor. My favorite song is by James Taylor, Carolina on My Mind. I love that song.
Carolina on My Mind. Thank you, Mr. Paul. We appreciate you. So Tim at Patriot Wealth Nation. Did I get that right?
You got it. You got it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, don't miss this Thursday event. So you'll thank me later. Tim, any last words?
No, man. Let's do our part. Save those Americans. Let's get everybody together and make it happen. Realtors are uniquely positioned. You know a lot of people. You've either helped them or you got friends in the family that know what you do. And you are in a unique position to be of the highest value resource to them than you could ever imagine. And that's what I'm trying to show people, what we do to give you that information to be that. So, yeah, love to see you on Thursday.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, email Tim Parnell, Tim at Patriot Wealth Nation. That was a lot of interesting topics that we just went ahead and covered today. Nick, can you bring me something nice to go ahead and say next show? Is there anything good to talk about?
I think the next show
puppies.
We should talk about our the new telescope that got all the shots of the new galaxies.
Wait, what happened?
Outer space. You didn't see that? The new telescope shots of outer space where they showed high definition galaxies.
We don't need to see that. Captain Kirk can go ahead and give us all.
Captain Kirk can show us, yeah.
Yeah.
To show us that we might not be alone, We might not be alone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's a wrap for us here at Real Estate America's News. Thank you for joining us today. Please tell your friends about us. We appreciate you. We work hard behind the scenes to use our non-infinite life to bring you this education. So we appreciate your support. Please ring that bell if you're on the tube of you. And if you're on Book of Face, hit that thumbs up. Did I say that right, or am I slightly
I think it's right. That's
right.
right. Everything's backwards now, so might as well.
Wait, it's called Meta, right? Yeah. Meta. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Freedom Move USA. If you're planning on making a move, make sure you get an agent that's certified over there. Don't talk to anybody else. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of money. And if you are a real estate agent, you should be certified by Freedom Move USA. They give territory control so that you can go ahead and get behind the brand and really get the message out into your local marketplace and start building it up. So we've heard stories of agents over there that started about 90 days ago and are working with over 30 families because of these offerings between Freedom Move USA. So it's a big game changer. All right, we stream live every Tuesday, Thursday at high noon, strike at high noon Eastern and 0900 Pacific. If you haven't already, go over and check out reunation.com. We have a newsroom over there where you guys can go ahead and enter your information to go ahead and get onto our hot sheets. We share all of our news clips and different articles, reports, and YouTube segments so that you can go ahead and see the full reports on how we produce. And also, if you guys have any hot insider news or would like to go ahead and be on the show, please enter your information there. We'll get back out in touch with you. So any final words, Nick, before we go ahead and wrap this out?
I like what Kurt said about date the rate and marry the house. I think a lot of people definitely feel like I'm going to be stuck with this interest rate forever. That might be a really good talking point to tell your people right now, date the rate and marry the house. I think that could be a really good talking point. I don't know what the word is. I was trying to think of something clever, but use that. Captain Kurt said so.
Date the rate, marry the house. All right, good deal. Thank you for joining me today, Nick. I appreciate you.
See you, buddy.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. We did it again. And once again, congratulations on making it this far. We're here with you. Please visit us at reunation.com. Enter your information. We won't abuse our text messages to you, and we share some valuable email information. So go check that out. And if you guys have any news from your local area that you want us to go ahead and cover, please make sure you enter that information over there. As always, from us here at Real Estate America News, stay blessed, stay unstoppable, and cheers and charge hard, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you on the next show.